if I have a passport, an Indian passport, am I a citizen of India or am I recognized as a citizen of India? We've been told by the Ministry of External Affairs in a press conference that the passport is nothing but a travel document. So it does not mean that you're a citizen of India just because you have a passport. The preamble to the Act says that it is an act to provide for the issue of passports and travel documents, to regulate the departure from India of citizens of India, etc., and other persons. Makes a distinction between a passport and a travel document. A passport is defined in the Passports Act, and a travel document is also defined in the Passports Act. That is the first thing which I think should be clarified, that since it is a complete misreading, a person who holds an Indian passport is a citizen of India. I think that should be very clear. The point of view of somebody else outside the country, an embassy or a consulate, you go to an embassy for a visa because you want to travel abroad, and the officer over there asks you, I'm giving this visa to you on the basis that you're a citizen of India, but your Ministry of External Affairs says that the document that you're presenting to me is not a passport and it does not certify that you're a citizen of India. So I'm sorry, I can't give you a visa.
नमस्कार दोस्तों, पिछले कुछ वक्त से ये बहस चल रही है कि पासपोर्ट आपकी नागरिकता का प्रमाण पत्र है या सिर्फ ट्रैवल डॉक्यूमेंट्स है, यानी कि कहीं जाने आने का एक केवल पत्र है, आपकी सिटीजनशिप का प्रमाण नहीं है। इसको किस तरह से समझ सकते हैं कि है या नहीं है? पासपोर्ट नियम एक है, उसमें क्या लिखा हुआ है और जो ट्रैवलिंग डॉक्यूमेंट्स हैं वो क्या होते हैं, इसको बहुत अच्छे से समझाया पूर्व जज मदन लोकर साहब ने। आइए चलते हैं, उनकी बातों को समझते हैं और अपनी सिटीज़नशिप आप किस तरह से बचा सकते हैं। तो इसलिए इस वीडियो को पूरा अंत तक देखिएगा। वीडियो अंग्रेज़ी भाषा में है, इसमें कैप्शंस ऑन करके आप अपनी भाषा चुन सकते हैं और इसमें वॉइस ओवर भी आप चेंज कर सकते हैं। वीडियो अंत तक ज़रूर देखिएगा।
Now we come to the last speaker of this session, and the closing remarks will be delivered by the chair of the session, Honorable Justice Madan Lokur, whom we call the People's Judge, and he was also the chair of the Citizens Commission on Elections, and we also brought out a publication with the findings of this commission. The books are available outside with Mr. Paranjoy, so those who are interested, they can buy the books also. So welcome Honorable Justice Madan Lokur ji.
Thank you, Ashok. Good morning to everybody. Frankly, I don't know what is my role here, but I would just like to make a few comments on some of the issues that have been raised by the speakers. First, I would like to deal with the issue of the controversy that we are facing right now and which has been adverted to by Ashok about the passport versus the citizen. If I have a passport, an Indian passport, am I a citizen of India or am I recognized as a citizen of India? We've been told by the Ministry of External Affairs in a press conference that the passport is nothing but a travel document. So it does not mean that you're a citizen of India just because you have a passport. So I had a look at the Passports Act of 1967, and I will read to you the preamble to the Act and then come to some other sections. The preamble to the Act says that it is an act to provide for the issue of passports and travel documents, to regulate the departure from India of citizens of India, etc., and other persons. So the preamble itself makes a distinction, and so does the Act itself. Makes a distinction between a passport and a travel document. a passport is defined in the Passports Act, and a travel document is also defined in the Passports Act. Now, Parliament does not make laws, and use superfluous words or words that have no meaning. I think that's a well settled principle. So when the Passport Act talks about a passport and it talks about a travel document, it means that these are two separate documents. So to say that a passport is nothing but a travel document, I think is a complete misreading of the provisions of the Passports Act. That is the first thing which I think should be clarified, that since it is a complete misreading, a person who holds an Indian passport is a citizen of India. I think that should be very clear. Now, look at it from the point of view of somebody else outside the country, an embassy or a consulate. You go to an embassy for a visa because you want to travel abroad, and the officer over there asks you, I'm giving this visa to you on the basis that you're a citizen of India. But your Ministry of External Affairs says that the document that you're presenting to me is not a passport and it does not certify that you're a citizen of India. So I'm sorry, I can't give you a visa. What happens at that time? The person says that, well, you're presenting to me a travel document. I want a passport which says that you're a citizen of India. Your government says that this document, that the passport that you're showing me is not proof that you are a citizen of India, so I'm sorry, I'm not giving you a visa. What happens in a situation like that? Does it mean that all the Indians who have gone abroad to Europe, United States and so on are persons who are not citizens of India? Just because they have a passport, it doesn't mean anything at all. So the passport effectively is reduced to a ticket, okay? Not even an airline ticket, but perhaps a bus ticket or something, that which entitles you to travel from one destination to another destination and nothing more. Now, I think with great respect to the officer in the ministry, it's saying something which is totally contrary to the law and totally contrary to the Constitution of India. The third thing that people have been saying, and they said so on TV, is that Section 20 of the Passports Act enables the government of India to give a passport to a person who is not a citizen of India. Fair enough, it does. But how many people who are not citizens of India have been given passports of India? We don't know. I will be surprised if there is anybody who has been given a passport, an Indian passport, and who is not a citizen of India and admittedly a foreigner. So to say that Section 20 enables that is neither here nor there, because we don't even have the facts. We don't know how many such people have got passports and who are those people and what were the circumstances in which such a passport was given. We don't know anything about this. So Section 20 in a sense is, at least on the evidence that is available today, it is a dead letter. You take something like the Bharat Ratna, it can be given to a foreign citizen. How many people, how many foreigners have actually got the Bharat Ratna? Just two, Nelson Mandela and Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, that's it. But we know them and we know what their nationality is. We know that they are citizens of different countries. A person under Section 20, first of all, we don't even know whether such a passport has been given. We don't know who that person is. We don't know the nationality or the citizenship of that person. So we're just talking on something which is hypothetical. So I think even this submission, that, it can be given to a foreign national, I think is neither here nor there. There has been a mention about citizenship by birth. Yes, the Constitution of India and the Citizenship Act does mention about citizenship by birth. There's also a reference to the recent judgment of the United States Supreme Court, which, by the way, the Constitution talks about citizenship by birth. But the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, Section 5 of the 14th Amendment, says that Congress can make a law with regard to citizenship. And the Constitution of India also says the same thing. And it's on that basis that the Citizenship Act has been framed. So perhaps, and perhaps that's what the President of the United States is looking at, the possibility of framing a law under the 14th Amendment, Section 5 of the 14th Amendment, to do away with this citizenship by birth. We've done it. We've put some conditions, we've put some riders about one parent being a citizen of India, one parent not being an illegal immigrant. I don't know what the United States Supreme Court would do. The last point that I want to make on this is something I think which is very, very important. And that is the Constitution of India gives certain fundamental rights to citizens. Among the most important rights that are given to citizens are enshrined in Article 19 of the Constitution. The right to freedom of speech and expression, the right to travel within India, any place in India, the right to carry on any business, profession, or any activity, occupation, and so on. These are granted only to citizens, they're not granted to everybody else. Article 21, the right to life and personal liberty, is granted to everybody, whether you're a citizen or not a citizen. Article 14, the right to equality, is granted to everybody. It doesn't matter whether you're a citizen of India or not. But Article 19 is granted only to citizens of India. So if a person is declared as a person not being a citizen of India, why? Because he doesn't, or he or she doesn't satisfy the requirements of the Election Commission and therefore not allowed to vote, and therefore under Article 326, perhaps not a citizen of India, that person is not entitled to any of the fundamental rights under Article 19. Can you imagine that? Somebody takes away your fundamental right to freedom of speech. You go to the court and say, I'm a citizen of India and my fundamental right to freedom of speech and expression has been taken away. And the judge asks you, what proof do you have that you're a citizen of India? What is your answer? You don't have a single document to show that you're a citizen of India. You have a passport, but the judge says, sorry, the passport is a travel document, it's not a document of citizenship. So in effect, all these persons who have not been allowed to vote and therefore are not citizens of India and are perhaps stateless persons have been deprived of a fundamental constitutional right guaranteed under Article 19. So you have these 27 lakh or 22 lakh or 6.5 crore persons roaming around in the country without the fundamental right to freedom of speech, movement, expression, carry on any business or occupation, because they're not citizens. So really, when we are looking at this controversy about citizenship and passport or citizenship per se, we are looking at something which is extremely serious and which requires considerable debate and discussion, not some press conference where some joint secretary says that just because you have a passport, it doesn't mean you're a citizen of India. It has very, very serious consequences which must be debated. The second thing that I would like to mention is about the Supreme Court, the Election Commission, and the judgments that have been rendered recently by the Supreme Court in the last year or two. I don't want to say anything about the judgment because the judgment is still to be delivered on the appointment of the Chief Election Commissioner. The only thing that I would like to say is that this was debated in Parliament, and one of the suggestions that was given was that Parliament should appoint the Chief Election Commissioner or the Election Commissioners. But that was, it was mentioned, it was discussed, but it was turned down. The reason given was that the Election Commission is going to decide who is going to be elected to Parliament. So we must have a person who is totally impartial. The Constituent Assembly was very clear that the Election Commission should have nothing to do with the executive. But today we've been told that 2/3 of the members of the selection committee to select the Chief Election Commissioner are members of the executive, the Prime Minister and a Cabinet Minister. So what the Constituent Assembly postulated, namely that there should be a complete separation between the executive and the Election Commission, has been done away with. But beyond that, there's nothing much that I would like to say, because the judgment is, should be delivered any time now. But the recent judgments of the Supreme Court, particularly the ADR judgment, recognizes the right to vote as a constitutional right. Now, way back in 1950-51, in the case of Kunuswamy, a 6-panel judge bench of the Supreme Court said that the right to vote is nothing but a statutory right. It's there in the Representation of the People's Act. It's a statutory right. But now, in a sense, overruling that 6-judge decision, the Supreme Court has consistently taken the view, and it has been reiterated in that ADR judgment, that it's a constitutional right. That's good. I'm not saying that it should not be a constitutional right, but it is a constitutional right, and therefore it is very important. So you can't take away a constitutional right of a person. Again, apart from Article 19 and so on and so forth, if you say that you can't vote, you are taking away a constitutional right. And you can't just take it away by saying that, listen, you produce certain documents. That's where the idea of a rebuttable presumption comes in. The presumption is that I am a citizen of India. Somebody has to say that, no, you are not a citizen of India. Right? And that presumption that I am a citizen of India can be rebutted by that person. I don't have to prove that I am a citizen of India. Whereas now what has happened is that I have to prove that I am a citizen of India. So that rebuttable presumption has already been accepted, and the burden is cast upon me to say that, listen, you please prove that you are a citizen of India, and if you are able to prove that through the production of these documents, I'll allow you to vote. It's actually the other way around. The presumption is that anybody who's here is a citizen of India. I can have an objection and say that, listen, I don't think this person is a citizen of India, in which case I can rebut that presumption and prove it to the satisfaction of the Election Commission that this person is not a citizen of India. So there is this distinction that has to be made between a rebuttable presumption and the existence of a presumption which can be rebutted. I think the Election Commission has in the recent past kind of overturned that, that burden of proof. What is the consequence of that? A consequence of that is that something like 27 lakh people, perhaps in West Bengal, have been disenfranchised. I met one of the tribunals last Saturday, and she told me that the average, there are 18 tribunals, there were 19 constituted, one of them resigned. I don't know if a replacement has been appointed, but out of the 18 tribunals, what I was told was that the daily disposal is about 20 to 25 cases per tribunal. On a rough calculation, it comes to about 500 cases being decided per day. I don't know how many working days there are, but try and imagine if 500 cases are decided in a day, how much time will it take for 27 or 22 or 23 lakh cases to be decided? And then to say that, listen, you need not vote in this election, you can vote in the next election. Perhaps the time of that person may not even come in the next election at 500 cases per day or 600 cases per day. I also think that one of the important points which the Supreme Court has missed is the expression reason to believe. That is there in the Act. That you can have an SIR if you have reason to believe that there is something wrong in the electoral roll. What is that reason to believe? The expression reason to believe has been interpreted 100 times under the Income Tax Act. So you have an assessment order, the income tax officer has reason to believe that, well, you have some income which has escaped assessment. He has to give the reasons. Why does he come to that reason? That has to be seen by the commissioner, and then a notice is issued to you for reassessment. The PMLA, which Enforcement Directorate is using day in and day out, also has the expression reason to believe. There is reason to believe that you are guilty of money laundering, or that you have, some income which you've not shown and which you perhaps laundered. The Representation of People's Act also talks about, 1950 Act, also talks about reason to believe. I have reason to believe, the Election Commission has reason to believe that the electoral roll has been wrongly prepared in a constituency, in any constituency. Supreme Court has said any constituency can be in the entire country. Fair enough. But the reason to believe must be there. And the reason to believe has not been specified in the judgment of the Supreme Court. So we don't even know what the reason is. Questions have been raised on what is the reason that you have. When the electoral roll was prepared in January, elections were held in January. In June, you said that, well, I have reason to believe that it has to be revised. What were the reasons? Nobody knows. And the reason is, I think it should be done. The Constituent Assembly used an expression in the context of the judiciary, unfortunately, of imperium in imperio. That is what the Election Commission is becoming today, an imperium in imperio. Nobody can question it. Article 324 was not intended to give blanket power to the Election Commission. That's why you had the Representation of People's Act. That's why you had Article 327, which gave certain guidelines. So if the field is occupied by law, fine, you have to go by that law. If the area is unoccupied, Article 324 comes into the picture. Supreme Court has said that in Mahendra Singh Gill's case. That has been interpreted by the Supreme Court in ADR. I don't agree with the interpretation, but that's a separate point. I believe that if the field is occupied, go by what the law says. If it is not occupied, go by what Article 324 says. It's not that Article 324 can, in a sense, say that, well, I don't think the field is occupied, even though it is. I don't think it is occupied, so therefore I will do what I feel like doing. That's where the imperium and imperio concept comes in with the Election Commission, and I'm afraid that has been given to the Election Commission. The last thing that I would like to say, well, two more things actually. One is Mr. Ashok Lavasa had mentioned about piecemeal revision of electoral rolls. If you look at the statute, the revision of the electoral rolls or the updating of the electoral rolls is expected to be a continuous process. You're supposed to do it all the time, because births are taking place all the time, deaths are taking place all the time, migration is taking all the time. So you have to keep doing it continuously. It's not that you do it every day, but maybe say once in 6 months, once in 3 months, once in a year, whatever it is. And when you come to the conclusion that there is something wrong, that's when you exercise the power to have this SIR. That's the reason to believe that my study, something which I was supposed to do on a regular basis, is what has given me the impression, empirical evidence, that the electoral roll is incorrect and it needs a revision. So therefore I order an SIR. It could not have happened between January and June 2025. It could not have happened throughout the country. To say that because there has been no revision for the last 20 years and therefore I'm going to have a SIR is not correct. It means that for the last 20 years you've not been doing your job. You should have been doing it. Why have you not done it? How about explaining that to the people of the country? And if you have done it, then there's no reason for you to revise the electoral rules of the entire country. So this piecemeal argument is, I think, of considerable significance. It just shows that either the Election Commission has not been working, or it has on its own decided that, well, whatever has happened in the past is wrong, we want to correct it, and we're going to correct it. And we're going to do it in a period of 3 months or 4 months in Bihar, and maybe some shorter period elsewhere. The last thing that I want to say is about the welfare benefits. Now, you've had the situation in Bihar, you've had the situation in West Bengal. People whose names are not on the electoral roll are not entitled to benefits. To say that, well, if you filed an appeal, it's okay, we'll consider it. But yes, in some places, Bihar, that's what I read in the newspapers, they said that they're being deprived of the benefits. So just imagine the consequence. First of all, you are deprived of a fundamental right that you have under Article 19. You are deprived of certain benefits that you are entitled to because of your poverty. So advantage is being taken of your poverty to deprive you of the benefits that you should get because of your poverty. You can't carry on any business or profession or any occupation because that right is being taken away because you're not a citizen. So where do these people go? Right? So the point is that this entire controversy that has been raised with regard to citizenship, that has been raised with regard to SIR, is something which is so serious that a couple of discussions here or there is not going to make a difference. It is time that the Supreme Court actually looks into it. It's not that because the Election Commission has done it, they've got the power under 324, we hold 324 as its plenary power and so on and so forth. Look beyond the law. What is the consequence of the law? What is the consequence of an action taken under the law? You had, in the recent past, just 2 days ago, and this is my closing comment, just 2 days ago, you had one judgment from the Bombay High Court where a person was externed from Bombay because he had said something about a cabinet minister, and he had said a couple of other things, completely innocuous, and he said, I have a right to protest. The Commissioner of Police externed him from Bombay. So he had to leave his residence, go out of Bombay, find a place to stay. I was wondering whether the externment order had been stayed by the Bombay High Court. Today's Indian Express says it wasn't stayed. For 7 months, he lived outside Bombay, outside Mumbai. He was sharing a flat with somebody, his family was in Mumbai, his kids were in Mumbai, his work was in Mumbai, his political activities were in Mumbai. He was not allowed to enter the city because of that externment order. And the Bombay High Court said the externment order is illegal, quashed it. Nothing followed from that. It was just simple quashing. I believe that that's where accountability comes in, which Anjali had mentioned. Shouldn't the executive, the Commissioner of Police or whoever it is who passed that externment order have been made to pay for it by way of compensation to this person or some other method? The second judgment is from the Delhi High Court, where
Judge has stayed.
no, today's Indian Express says no, not state. May have been state, but he was asked to leave. He was not allowed to enter Mumbai for 7 months. The Delhi High Court judgment says that a father and a son were arrested by the police. Beaten up, the father was released the same evening. The son was not released. Next morning, the son was found dead, hanging. And the defense given by the police was, the answer given by the police was that, well, he committed suicide, what are we to do? Is material for committing suicide so easily available in a police station? That you tell a person that, okay, in case you want to commit suicide, here is the material that is available. The Delhi High Court held, and I think rightly, that custodial death is still actionable. And they have given compensation to the family for whatever it is worth. That's where accountability comes in. That you have deprived a person of his life illegally, unconstitutionally, compensate him for that. The Bombay High Court, according to me, should have done it. Delhi High Court has done it. And this entire controversy about SIR and not being able to vote, not having a fundamental rights, not getting welfare benefits and all that, somebody has to be held accountable. And I think we need to discuss that as well. Thank you.
दोस्तों, पिछले कुछ वक्त से हम इसी तरह की रिपोर्टिंग कर रहे हैं, जिसमें हम लोगों ने आपको SIR का बताया था। बिहार में SIR शुरू हुआ था, फिर आपका बंगाल में शुरू हुआ। उससे पहले जब ये एक चीज़ पूरी खबर आ रही थी कि हरियाणा कांग्रेस पार्टी जीत रही थी, लेकिन आखिरी में सब कुछ पलट दिया गया और उसके तहत ये पता चला कि वहाँ पर कितने वोटर्स आखिरी टाइम पर आए थे। तो उन वोटरों का किस तरह से आए थे, उनकी फुटेज दिखाना चाहिए था इलेक्शन कमीशंस को, उसने ये सब काम नहीं किया। तो ये बहुत ज़रूरी था कि इसको आप समझे होंगे कि किस तरह से अब नागरिकता पे सवाल उठाया जा रहा है कि हमारे डॉक्यूमेंट्स कौन से नागरिकता के हैं प्रमाण, ये अभी तक सरकार नहीं बता रही है। लेकिन सरकार जो कर रही है उससे एक आम आदमी, एक मज़दूर, माइनॉरिटी बहुत ज़्यादा परेशान है। उम्मीद है कि सरकार कुछ नियम लाएगी, कुछ बताएगी और क्लियरिटी लाएगी कि वो क्या चाहती है भारत के नागरिक से और किसको वो भारत का नागरिक मानती है। ये सारी चर्चाएं आपको द स्वतंत्र पे दिखाई जाएंगी। अपने दोस्त हैदराबाद नकवी को इजाज़त दें, फिर होगी मुलाकात एक नई चर्चा के साथ। तब तक के लिए नमस्कार।